Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm 16, I'm a young writer, and my goal for this summer is to get as many of my backlog of children's books published as possible. So that includes working on illustrations, cover art, rewriting parts, and just publishing. Yeah, get as many books out there as possible. That's what we want to do. We will be self-publishing on Amazon and on what's the name of Ingram Spark, so I can get into local bookstores and stuff. So I have quite a backlog of books. Some of them were from ages ago and never finished or whatever. So the ones that we're working on publishing right now are The Smallest Griffin, Crime in Unexpected Places, the sequel, The Secret of the Notes, Statue of a Dragon, and Trapper of Magic. Also a collection of short stories, maybe also a poetry book, maybe also my set of early readers. I've been writing since pretty much as long as I can remember, before I could write even. I would make these little picture books and draw all the pictures and stick them together with tape. And since I didn't write the words down, when I was reading it to someone, I would just have to memorize the words. I remember I did one that was it was about the Grinch's dog, but from the dog's point of view, the whole story of the Grinch. And I did another really long one. Well, it was long to a 4-year-old. I did another really long one where there was some sort of disease that made people spiky or something. I don't remember much, but I would have to memorize all the words. And then as I got older, I started writing longer stuff, short stories, like Enchanted Woods here. I made many early readers for my sister. I started many chapter books, finished less. And then in 2010, no, I forget when it was, 2020 I think. Yeah, 2020. I was born 2010. I don't know what I'm saying. In 2010, I started selling my books at local fairs. I was binding them myself and stuff. And since then, my writing quality has only been improving. I've been writing longer chapter books, and now they're too long to bind, and I will need to self-publish them. I'm 16 now, and I've been writing my whole life, and I'm still writing to this day, and I'm going to be a children's book author when I grow up. So the type of books that I like to write, and also to read too, is children's fantasy. I love it. It's just so fun and lighthearted. So that's pretty much what all my books are, except I also love mysteries. So I've written a few of those, except all the mysteries that I've written so far are also fantasy, because the two that we're working on publishing this summer is set in a world full of dragons. So yeah, fantasy and mysteries, that's what I write. I started selling my books at little local fairs back in 2020. Back then my books were a lot smaller, so we could hand bind them. This is my set of early readers. There was one for each color, and we would do the stitching ourselves and just print them on our home printer. We also did these two short stories, Enchanted Woods and Filter Fluff. I had this short story picture book, Enchanted Woods. The artwork is really nice, although this was several years ago, so my art has improved some in that time, but it still looks very pretty. And then probably the longest and the most complex to bind would be In the Forest, my poetry book. It's hardcover with cloth, and it's all illustrated. It's a collection of my poetry. So we did those, and I sold them at fairs, and that was good, and it was very fun, and it went well. But then once I started writing longer books, like children's chapter books, it got too long for us to bind. So now we really need to get them printed on Amazon, basically. So for basically as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be a children's book author. Pretty much since I knew what a children's book author was. That's always sort of been my goal, and I'm getting closer by the minute. In fact, when I was selling at the Young Entrepreneur Fairs, I would always say, and I'm going to be a children's book author when I grow up, when I was there selling my books. And then the grandmothers buying books for their grandchildren would be like, "Oh, but you already are one, my dear." And I would be like, yep. But I mean a published one, and this summer, hopefully I will become one. Finished in 2020 is my poetry book, which is a collection of my various poetry that I sold at fairs. I haven't been writing poetry recently, but I did back then. And then in 2020 also, there's Enchanted Woods, the short story. That one was actually entered in the Stone Tube magazine, and it won an honorable mention, which I always mentioned when selling it at fairs. It's a selling point. Finished in 2021 is Filter Fluff, the picture book / short story. The early readers were also 2021. Silver the Fox was written in 2022. It's unfinished, although it's only missing a bit, but it will also need a lot of editing, which is why we probably won't be publishing it this summer, maybe sometime. I've gotten a lot better about this, but there was back then a lot of books that I started and never finished, such as Ilk, Chameleon Towers, Green Claws. Some of those I still think I want to finish at some point, but they need work, and yeah. So finished more recently in 2024 is The Smallest Griffin. That's one of the ones we're publishing this summer, or trying to. As you know, maybe, I'm doing more new cover art and new illustrations for all these things, but in the original notebook where I wrote it, it had its own little pen sketches and stuff, just for fun. I like drawing as I'm writing along. I still do that. Helps me think. And then after that came Crime in Unexpected Places, finished in 2024. Crime in Unexpected Places is one of my earliest mysteries. I haven't written many because I find them rather tricky to write, but Crime in Unexpected Places I'm very pleased with. Here is a short few-liner about it. Trillium Sharpspot, 11-year-old Dragonling detective, is on the case. The mystery of a stolen emerald leads her into an unexpected place, a boarding school, and into danger. Who can Trillium trust? Statue of a Dragon, one of my longer books, was finished in 2025, last year. Secret of the Notes, the sequel to Crime in Unexpected Places, was finished in 2026. Although it was written closer to the time Crime in Unexpected Places was written, I just got around to finishing it this year. Here's a short one-liner about it. Trillium Sharpspot returns to Lighthatch Boarding School for Dragonlings, but this time as a student. Trouble starts right away, though, with an assortment of mysterious notes and a theft that someone tries to frame Goldenrod and her for. It seems that a quiet school year is too much to ask for where Trillium and Goldenrod are involved. So yeah, that one I put off for a while finishing. And most recently finished is Trapper of Magic. Trapper of Magic and Statue of a Dragon are two of my favorite works, and I feel like they're the best. They are both the most recently started books, and I wrote them on my antique typewriter that I got fairly recently. So as you can see, it's all typewritten. But I still have the habit of stopping and drawing while I'm writing, and I would do these little pencil sketches while writing my book. Finished artwork for that one. I'm planning on doing watercolor, very extensive, like illustrations on every page. It's gonna be very like immersive, even on pages where it's not like a picture. I want to have some sort of like neat print on the paper, like it looked like it was splashed with water or something, you know. So that's my most recent one. I just finished it. I'm very proud of it, and Statue of a Dragon. And now I am on to Lycanthrope, my most recent work. I'm also writing it on the typewriter. I started it a few weeks ago, and I wrote up to chapter 2, but I wasn't liking the way it was going, so I started again, and I'm much more pleased with it this time. And I think it's shaping up to be a very good book. So, one of my goals is to get into libraries and local bookstores, but not only that. I love doing like public appearances and stuff, so I would love doing like tons of like local book signings, or like, you know, giving a book to a school publicly and like talking to the kids about writing, or doing a reading at a library. So the more of that stuff we can get, the better. I love being on stage and stuff. I have done years of theater and improv, and I love reading my books out loud and doing all the voice acting and stuff. I think it's so fun, and I would love doing tons of like public book stuff. I would love to be on Audible. I would love making audiobooks. In fact, I've even written some music on the piano, so I'd even like make my own music for like at the beginning of the audiobook, you know, where it's like starts, this is a Audible Studios production of do 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 do, you know, I would do that myself. Oh, it would be so much fun. I would love that. So, as well as writing, I also do a lot of art, and not just illustrations for my books. I like a lot of different mediums, actually. This is a little clay character from Statue of a Dragon. It's the statue of a dragon. I did it shortly upon finishing the book, I think. I now keep it on my desk, and I love this little statue so much. And then there's also this needle-felted character from Trapper of Magic that I made for my sister for Christmas, because she's a big fan of the character. It has little posable limbs. And most recently completed, I think, is this needle-felted dragon. I've been making some stuff to sell in this local shop that offered to put my stuff in like a display booth for sale, and this is one of the ones that will probably go in there. It's based off like Chinese dragons, except they don't have wings, of course. So anyway, this is like needle felted, but it also has clay antlers and eyes, and the claws are actually little pomegranate seeds, and obviously it has feathery wings, of course. So there's quite a few different mediums I like. I'll also do like things with like cardboard and stuff, and I'll make like these elaborate like masks and whatnot. Yeah. I made this costume that was a character from The Smallest Griffin, and I wore it one Halloween. I could wear it to like a book signing or something if I wanted. And it has like this really cool mask with like a beak and everything. It's like so cool.